Morning. Well, we've seen big news making headlines today. The fact that we've seen the Senate now approving the AMC bill, and the final step being left for this corporation to actually come to the fore, the president's signature. Run us through market reaction to that, because it's certainly been waiting a long time.
Yeah, basically it was released yesterday. The news came after trading yesterday, so market didn't have the opportunity to react to it yesterday, but I feel the reaction is going to be positive today, and the reason being that this is a corporation that is meant to resolve the banking crisis completely by taking off the bad non-performing loans really from the distressed bank, and also even from the clear banks that wish to participate in the program. So this is really putting money on the table for the banks, and then basically recapitalizing those that the distressed want for further acquisition. So I think this is a step in the right direction, getting closer to the final resolution of the banking crisis. And obviously, I expect the market to react positively to that news today.
Well, we started talking about Diamond Bank specifically yesterday, and its plans to actually entrench its position of financing micro, small and medium enterprises in the country. The broker was chatting to seeing it as a major positive for this bank moving forward specifically. What have you made of that move?
Basically, Diamond Bank as its strategy has really been clear. It's an SME bank, SME-focused bank, and the regional business really accounts for like 70% of its revenue. And so doing this right now, it's not really surprising, and it's not new, and it's something that its antecedents justifies. Going into SME, it's really what it said in the last investor conference, saying that it's going to focus on this area and make sure it diversifies its loan into smaller tranches as opposed to the concentrated loan it had in the past that got it into trouble where it had huge non-performing loans in 2009. So really, I think this is positive for the bank, and given that it has expertise in this area, being able to manage the risk effectively in that area, I think it just makes sense entirely.
Well, are there any other players in the banking segment actually going down this route? Because if not, it would imply that Diamond Bank is getting in on the opportunity before the competition really sets in then.
Well, I think a lot of other banks are also playing in that segment, to be sincere, even though I can claim that Diamond is one of the best, that understands how that sector works. For instance, Stanbic IBTC has also focused on retail and SME areas, and they've also done it well in other countries in Africa and hoping to replicate that in Nigeria. Diamond specifically has always been doing it in Nigeria, and that works in their favor. In addition to that, Sterling Bank as well, due to his lower capital base, has also focused on the SME areas, and it's also done it effectively, really. So I think all the banks, there's a competition in that segment as well, but I think Diamond is one of the leaders in the SME segment, SME lending segment.
In the meantime, Nigeria's first bank is said to be in early talks with the big Chinese lender about a possible equity deal. Has any detail really emerged on that?
Not particularly, no details of the particular stake and the valuation and what sort of transaction the First Bank is going to. I think it's still in the talk phase, and there's really no concrete agenda yet. But what is clear is that First Bank is trying to buy a stake in the Chinese bank, and it's basically strategic. It's the whole idea is to get a lot of Chinese companies coming to Nigeria to do business, especially in the energy sector, to do it through First Bank. And I think that makes a lot of sense in terms for shareholders, in terms of strategic direction for First Bank. Given that we expect the oil licensing bid round to occur in August, and we expect a lot of Chinese energy companies to come in that regard. And moving very quickly in this area would bode well for First Bank and being able to finance a lot of these deals from these Chinese companies.
Well, certainly we've got First Bank now following the footsteps of South Africa's Standard Bank, which sold, of course, a 20% equity stake in itself to Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. Despite both of these news items being read as positives, though, Babatunde, I mean, both in Diamond Bank's case and in First Bank as well, we've seen these share prices dropping pretty heftily on the bourse this week. So what are you anticipating in terms of share price movement today once the market has had time to actually digest some of this news flow?
Well, I feel what is happening to the share price right now is, is a sector-wise, a systemic issue really. All banks are taking a hitting, at the same time. But I feel that a lot of these banks, the value are getting, significantly attractive as they get lower, obviously. Diamond Bank trading at trading last close at 7.40 kobo, seems very cheap to me. Diamond Bank has book value of about 750 kobo. So trading below its book value really, makes it attractive, so attractive to me, given what the bank is doing and what sort of prospects I think the bank has. Same goes for First Bank, really. It's one of the biggest. It has the capacity to amass a lot of deposits, to grow its asset book and improve return on equity at the end of the day. So I think the market would digest this information when they feel the whole situation affecting the banking sector gets closer to the resolution. And I think that's where the AMC comes into play, really. So I think the whole investor apathy towards banking stocks is a reflection of what's happening to the distressed bank and the whole economy in general. But I think by the time investors digest this positive information, they realize that current prices of those banks are attractive.